One of the questions I get asked a lot about on the channel is the Shemhamphorash angels. Usually the angels are brought up in context of, hey Dave, this seems like something fairly beginner friendly, can you tell me how to do it? So today I'm going to go over that again. I am Dave the Amateur Magus. On this channel I talk all about the mechanics behind ceremonial magic, occultism, esotericism, and the mechanics behind everything you can find within a dusty old grimoire. If you enjoy what I do here and you want to support the channel, link in the description of the Patreon, where you can support the channel in exchange for Patreon exclusive content. Hope to see you all there, and if you are already supporting me on Patreon, you have my thanks for your continued and ongoing support. Let's get into it. So, for those of you who either don't know or need a refresher, the 72 Angels of the Shemhamphorash are 72 angels, each being correspondent to one of the letters of the 72-letter name of God. All of these names are actually derived names, and they are all taken from the Book of Psalms. Each angel's name is encoded within one of the psalms. That is how their name is derived. Now, of all of the angels to evoke that I've talked about on this channel, these are and continue to be the easiest angels to evoke in literally every circumstance. Now, depending on which method you believe, these angels are going to be a laborious, multi-day long process, or they're going to take all of 30 minutes to say a verse of a psalm. This actually comes from the Goetia of Dr. Rudd, and this is where we get an interesting connection, because there are 72 angels of the Shemhamphorash, and there are 72 demons of the Goetia. And as anyone who is a occultist with numerical brain rot will associate, if it's got 72, it must be connected, right? So they, in turn, were linked together. Now, you will see this as, depending on if you believe the Goetia of Dr. Rudd, the angels of the Shemhamphorash can be called up as protector spirits in operations governing their own opposite goetic demon. However, at some period down the line, some occultists decided to just call them up independently, and they found that these spirits, like all angels, do have things that they are capable of assisting you with. Now, being of a lower angelic order than, say, the archangels, who are called up in the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, or as part of various Kabbalistic operations, these angels are a lot faster. I would say that if you wanted to get what they were in terms of speed, they're probably somewhere in the ballpark of faster than the archangels, maybe a little bit slower than elemental spirits, potentially. Which, in terms of the speed of which a spirit can manifest things, is really goddamn fast. That is incredibly fast. Especially when we realize that elemental spirits are some of the most, they're probably the second or third fastest spirit in terms of getting a physical manifestation. However, it's also worth noting that the angels of the Shemhamphorash also have a lot of things associated with them that are going to assist with non-physical things. And for those things in particular, they're probably going to be some of the most powerful spirits in order to actually get a quick and simple result from. And being angels, they're fairly easy to work with, especially because from what I've read and from what I've attempted, the evocation method is actually fairly simple. So here is a very beginner-friendly method of evoking the angels of the Shemhamphorash, and I'm not going to give every single evocation method, but we'll get to that in a bit. So, step 1. You're going to have a white candle on your altar or whatever magical space you are using. Now, I will say right off the bat, if you are the kind of person who has problems scrying or having issues with visual things, then this isn't going to work nearly as effectively. But if you are the kind of person who has put a couple of months into this kind of magical work, you should be able to have this experience without any big issue. So that's step 1. Right? And that's the disclaimer as well, step 1. So step 2 is going to be, you're going to be doing all of your preliminary banishing rituals. Now this is going to differ based on the person. Personally, in my experience, I like to do the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, and the lesser banishing ritual, the hexagram. That's just what I like to do. But on occasion, I will do for bigger rituals, I'll do the opening by watchtower if I'm feeling a little bit more spicy and more high-powered. But for the sake of this example, let's say that you've only done the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and the lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram. So you've opened up all of your magical spears. Actually, let's say you've done the invoking rituals. Now, what this will do is, if you are a fan of Scott Stenwick, this will put you in a magical field that will allow things to come into your circle more readily, okay? And it will also allow those things to affect you more readily. That is also important. Now, from here we're going to have selected and written in Hebrew and in English on a piece of paper the names of the angel that we are going to evoke. Now, if we're going to be evoking an angel for love, we're going to have an angel associated with love. Ideally, we will also have the tarot card associated with that angel on the altar. Now, because of their association with the number 72 and the number 72's association with the quinine, they are all given a tarot card associated with them. And this goes like this. The first two are given the Two of Wands. The second two are given the Three of Wands. The next two are given the Four of Wands, and then when you get to the next ones, you get to the Five of Pentacles. And it continues like that, going in normal tarot order around the zodiac. So, if we wanted to do a love working with one of the angels, hilariously, the second angel is going to be associated with love. Now, this angel is also said to be able to reconcile friendships if possible, and also is just very good at assisting you with various different forms of friendship remediation, as it were. Now, in this case, what we would do is we would have a white candle on our altar, and because it is the angel number 2, it gets the Two of Wands, so we would put the Two of Wands on our altar. Now, some people like to put it upside down if it's one of the even number ones. I'm not going to do that. I don't believe in reversed cards unless it's like in incredibly specific circumstances. I don't read reversed cards 90% of the time. And if I get a reversed card, it happened entirely on accident, and I usually have to look up the meaning. So, not going to worry about that. But, for the rest of this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the name of the angel written in both English and Hebrew. We're going to have that on our altar. Now, this is something I personally like to do before we begin the operation. We are going to have that name flipped over face down, okay? And when we go through this, we are going to flip it over after the evocation is done and we feel that the spirit has arrived. So, we're going to break this down once again. We're going to perform our opening rituals, in this case, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and the lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram. We're going to then proceed to do some meditation. We're going to then proceed to go ahead and light the candle. We should have a couple of candles lit to actually light up our space so we can actually see what the hell we're doing, right? But we're going to be lighting the candle in the center as we begin to recite the psalm verse associated with the angel 3 times. Now, we're going to do this in order to get the angel to show up, and then we will say a small conjuration to the angel. This doesn't need to be very specific. This doesn't need to be very grandiose. You can just call up the angel and ask it to show up and assist you with the task that you are going to charge it with, right? You are then going to, after you get some sort of feeling that the spirit is in the room with you, I have typically seen and heard people will interpret the angels of the Shemhamphorash less as like a full human form angel and more of a ball of light, like a really cheerful, excitable ball of light. That is how I have interpreted them, and that is how a lot of the people that I've talked to have interpreted them. But as a whole, this is just a common thing that I thought I would mention. Now, you're going to ask them to do the task that you have written out, and you're going to have this be something fairly simple, but you're going to have it be something fairly precise, because you're going to want to make sure that you are giving the angel a task that they can actually perform properly. And most angels will be able to figure out a method for getting it done. And after you are done giving the angel any instructions, you're going to meditate, try to listen and hear the angel, hear what it has to say, and then from there you're going to ask it to go forth, care at your will, and then return to the place from whence it came, with no harm or mischief done along the way. Now, this is a very simple license to depart. And all of this is going to be fairly simple. This is a very, very simple evocation method. Are you going to get stellar results from this? You might. Genuinely, you might. I know a lot of people who swear by the angels of the Shemhamphorash. There are very few classes of spirit that you can get all of your potential magical needs met, but the Shemhamphorash angels are among that list. They are going to be the ones who are going to assist you the best that they can. And notably, they're fairly good if you're trying to increase your circumstances, or if you're trying to just generally improve your life in a way that is going to be naturally beneficial for a lot of people. The Angel 56, Poiel, is the standard money spirit of the Shemhamphorash. He's a fairly popular one, I would imagine. And one of the things that he is good for is improving your financial situation if it would improve your livelihood and your quality of life, depending on the translation. So I would recommend trying to do a money spell with him if you have had no luck with various other things. Other than that, all of the angels have their purpose, and I'm going to leave it up to you, the audience, to search them up, because I'm not going to lie, it's fairly easy to find what these angels are for, and it's fairly easy to find where you can get them. Just make sure that you are doing your due diligence, and you are actually finding the angel listings that are properly cataloged. But yeah, that has been how to work with the angels of the Shemhamphorash. I'm going to leave it up to you to research them. Once again, if you want to support the channel and you like what I do here, link in the description to the Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to videos early, Patreon exclusive videos, and the Occultic Manual series, which I aim at being more instructional than what I have here on the channel, but less unapproachable than some of the old grimoires I like to talk about on the channel. If any of that is of interest to you, link in the description as always, and thank you to all the people who support the channel and keep the channel running. Hope everyone is having a good day. If you're not having a good day, hope your day gets better. Take it easy, take care, and I will hopefully see you next time.